We are just over halfway through the NBA season at the All-Star break, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are the #1 team in the Western Conference. Now, they are only a game and a half over the 2-seed Oklahoma City Thunder, and after that, it is real tight. It's anyone's race still. But being at the All-Star break, we really have to think about how far can the Minnesota Timberwolves actually go. They are still a decently young team. Their offense hasn't been great, but their defense has been amazing. They have never been past the first round with this group of guys. And in my mind, there's a lot of different factors that go into this. Obviously, they are a #1 seed this far through the season for a reason. They've been playing great basketball. Ant is a dog. Anthony Edwards is averaging 26.5 points per game, which is good for like 13th in the league. You know, he does the dirty work. Karl-Anthony Towns is at 22.5 points with 8.5 boards a game, shooting 50, 40, and 88, so not quite in the 90 club, but shooting really well. Now, obviously that lacks on the defensive end for Cat, but that is where it's been made up for by Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels. Jaden McDaniels has been the point on the 1A scorer for every NBA team, and he has been playing A1 defense. This man is a lock. These boys are figuring it out. Ant is turning into the leader that he needs to be, and it's going really, really well. Hence why they are #1 in the West. Like I said, we haven't seen these guys get past the first round of the playoffs ever before. Can they do it this year? And what seed are they going to end up as by the end of the NBA season? And I don't know. This team has been very, very healthy, which is very good for them. They are, again, one of the younger teams, only really competing with the Thunder at the top in youth, I guess. And they have been playing really good basketball. Mike Conley is that veteran that they need to steady them. These guys have had playoff experience, unlike the Thunder. They have been to the playoffs, not just the play-in. Hence, they beat the Thunder last year in the play-in to get a first-round trip to Denver, which ended real quick after just a 5-game series, but they snuck out a win against Nikola Jokic and the future NBA champions. But it's there. They've been to the playoffs a couple times. Cat's been to the playoffs a couple times. Rudy Gobert's been to the playoffs, and Mike Conley plenty in their past with the Jazz, and Mike Conley also a couple times with the Grizzlies before that. And the Western Conference is tough, man. Like I'm saying, the Thunder might be the 2 seed, but the Clippers are only like a half game behind them. We have 10 teams in the Western Conference that could legitimately win a first round series, whether that be the Pelicans at the 6 seed, whether that be the 7-seeded Mavs, the 8-seeded Suns, right? The 9-seeded Warriors or Lakers. I mean, those guys are down there. They're fighting for a play-in spot right now. And those are all teams that if I'm the Timberwolves, I really wouldn't want to go up against in the first round of the playoffs. They have more playoff experience than us. They've won playoff games before. They have Luka Doncic. They have Kevin Durant or LeBron James or Steph Curry. These are problematic issues for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Though Anthony Edwards is a dog, and I think I'd even call Jaden McDaniels a defensive dog, I don't see many other dogs on this Timberwolves team. Karl-Anthony Towns has been known forever as one of the softest big guys to ever play in the NBA. He just doesn't have that lockdown mentality. He doesn't have that dog mentality. Rudy Gobert is not the most tough guy emotionally, mentally. You know, we see him crying about all-star snubs, and I'm not trying to poke fun at the big fella. He just isn't a dog. Okay, that's all I'm saying. He isn't a dog. Obviously, he's a 3-time DPOY. We know what he can do. But his reputation really doesn't hold up in the playoffs either. When you can get a 7-game series prepared for Rudy Gobert and the defense that was the Utah Jazz and now is the Minnesota Timberwolves, it has not been a good turnout for Rudy Gobert. And I think that might be a similar problem that would follow him here in Minnesota. The only exception is they have an elite perimeter defender in Jaden McDaniels now. And as a unit, they are still a very good defensive team. Anthony Edwards is no joke as a defender. So that Timberwolves perimeter defense is a little bit better than the defense that Rudy Gobert had in Utah. Another point of concern with the Minnesota Timberwolves is they are ranked 18th in total offense. 18th. That's not in the top half of the league. Though there are other contenders below them, notably the Miami Heat, who are prone to make finals runs, and of course The Denver Nuggets are one spot below them in the 19th spot, who won the NBA Finals just a year ago. Now, a lot of the Nuggets' problems is Jokic has been in and out of the lineup. Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, these guys have all dealt with injuries throughout this season, where the Timberwolves have had their share as well, but they've been relatively healthy, which has been obviously a positive for them. And that is another reason why they're at the top of the conference right now, and I'm not sure if that will hold. Once these teams really get locked in, some of these older teams, they kind of coast. We've seen LeBron James do this for years. They kind of coast through the regular season. They get to the playoffs, they flip a switch. I don't think teams like the Thunder or the Timberwolves have another switch to flip, right? They're giving their best right now, which is great, and I think this right now can compete with some of their other teams' playoff runs. I just can't confidently say that the Timberwolves are going to be able to take it to another level come playoff time. Especially, like I said, when you could plan for Rudy Gobert in a 7-game series, hasn't gone well in the past. So I think the Clippers would give the Timberwolves a lot of trouble because they can attack from all different sides. The Thunder have beat the Timberwolves 2 out of their 3 matchups. It's tough to confidently say that the Timberwolves can win even a playoff round, just because of how good these teams are. Now, I'm not going to count them out because they do have the number 1 defense in the league, and they do have scorers such as Karl-Anthony Towns, such as Anthony Edwards. They have great role players, and Jaden McDaniels is an elite defender. Kyle Anderson is having a decent year. Mike Conley is that veteran experience that you need. I would have loved to see them pick up Monte Morris in the trade deadline, or just another piece like an Alec Burks, who also got moved. Obviously, a Caruso would have been nice, but he didn't even get real shopped for, or a Dorian Finney-Smith. But we're talking about the Timberwolves in their current state. I would love to see them match up really well with maybe a Kings team. I think they could play really well with the Kings. I think they could go up against the Suns if they can just do anything they can to slow down Kevin Durant. Jaden McDaniels can do his thing, try and force Booker and Beal to get tough shots, which they can definitely hit, but can they hit 7 games worth? I think they might match up well because their bench is going to beat the Suns' bench. Anthony Edwards is going to keep him in it with his scoring ability, and he's going to get easier buckets with being led by Mike Conley. I think they could match up really well with the Suns, with the Kings potentially, maybe the Mavericks even. Really, it boils down to matchups. But I think this team has the potential to lose in the first round, and they also have the potential to make it to the Western Conference Finals. I don't think they'll get past that. Again, they don't have that dog. They don't have that experience as much as some of these other teams. I think their defense is going to take a hit in the playoffs, as I've said many times throughout this video. And so for that reason, that's going to be the range that I give them. They can make it all the way to the Western Conference Finals after winning 2 rounds. They're not going to get past that. I don't think they will be even able to win a first round game depending on their matchup. I'm excited to see who they go up against. I think they also would match up well against the Warriors. If I'm going to put my money on it, I'm going to say that the Timberwolves are going to lose in the second round. Again, depending on matchups, I could easily see this being like the Grizzlies and Lakers of last year. The Lakers fall, they win a play-in tournament game, and the Timberwolves have to go up against them. The Timberwolves have to do all they can to remain in this number 1 seed. Obviously, even though I think this is going to fluctuate a ton, whether it be the Thunder, or the Clippers, the Nuggets even, to stay as far away from that 4 seed as possible, because I don't think you want to go up against the 7 seed, whoever comes out of that. Definitely possible. I'm going to take them to win 1 round, not 2. I could see them winning 2, but not 3. And that's just my takes. What do you think about the Timberwolves? Are they legitimate contenders? Who do you have coming out of the West? Let me know. I'm excited.